Okay. 5. Some of us who have been with us for some time, you already know what this garden is about. It's where we come together to look at some of the issues affecting learning and reading or education generally in our country, Nigeria, and where we discuss some of the topical issues that are affecting access to reading, access to learning, access to education, or the quality of reading that we are doing, the quality of learning that our pupils, our students across all levels of education are getting, as well as the quality of education that is being dispensed in our country. And so this is what this event is about. And we invite stakeholders to come and discuss, I mean, from their own experiences, from their own exposures, or from their own practices. What are the things they are seeing? What are the issues? And what are the considered um, wisdom? What are the considered insight solutions to solving these challenges? So the way we do it, we will be introducing ourselves because we are all stakeholders in the curriculum of our nation. Would actually, I mean, state which part of the stakeholders you are from. If you are a student, let us know. If you are a lecturer, a teacher, let us know. If you are a parent, they are also stakeholders, let us know. And if you are an admin person, you maybe are an official of the government or any agency, also let us know so that we know, okay, the people that we are having this conversation with. Also, if you are an advocate, I mean, you advocate for quality education, improve learning, like myself, also let us know which part of the group you belong to. I will start with myself. My name is Babatunde Oladele, and I'm currently joining this meeting from Little Rock, Arkansas, United States of America. And I'm the executive director for LRF, that's the Literary Renaissance Foundation, the organization that holds or hosts this event on a quarterly basis. As far as that goes, I'm the moderator of the discussion for today, and I'm also an advocate for quality education, improved learning, and cultivating a reading culture in developing countries and across the world, starting with Nigeria, of course, and wherever I am. So that is me in a nutshell. I will be calling the next person to introduce themselves. Please, let's get to meet you. At some point, we may live stream the meeting. Otherwise, if we don't live stream it, we will still just put the recording. It's being recorded. We'll put the recording on YouTube so that even those who are not here can watch, or those who want to recap what were discussed can also join us. Okay, so I'll be calling Ose Hale Deborah to introduce yourself, please. Let's meet you, Deborah.
Yeah. My name
Good.
is Osei. I live in Lagos State, Ecuador to be precise. I'm a student. I'm a writer and a spoken word artist. I'm a student. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah, joining us from Egbeda in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, next person I'll be calling is Ibrahim Jafar. Ibrahim Jafar,
Yes, I'm here with you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody.
good afternoon.
Yeah. This is Ibrahim Jafar. I'm joining this call from Lagos, and I'm also a student and a tech enthusiast, and I'm in the journey of becoming a data analyst. So
Okay.
that is it.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, Ibrahim Jafar, joining us from Lagos, a student and a tech enthusiast joining from Lagos. Next person I'll be calling to introduce him or herself is Mary. I think that's the name I'm seeing next. Mary, please, let's get to meet you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary. I'm joining from Lagos, Ikeja, and I'm the administrator for Literary Renaissance Foundation.
Okay, thank you, Mary, joining us from Lagos, administrator for LRF. The next name I'm seeing here is Julius. Please, let's get to meet you, please, Julius.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am Julius and I am a teacher and a writer. I am joining in from Lagos, Igondo, precisely.
Thank you, Julius. Teacher, joining us from Igodo, Lagos, Nigeria. Thanks for joining us today. The next person I'll be calling is Obanishola Ebmolua. Ebulua, can we get to meet you, please? Is she here? Okay, jump to call Uluwa Fumilayo. Please, let's meet you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
My
evening.
name is Lua Layo. I'm joining from Ibadan. Currently,
Okay.
a master's student of the University of Ibadan, and I write poem.
Thank you, Uluwa Fumilayo, master student from University of Ibadan, joining us from Ibadan. Thanks for joining me today. The next person I'll be calling is Oluwase Bodunde. Oluwase Bodunde, can we meet you, please? Okay, we'll skip him or her and call Amos Akonde.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Amos Akonde, public servant. I'm joining from Abuja. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Amos Akonde, public servant, joining us from Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. Thanks for joining us today. The next person I'll be calling is Latifat Badmos, followed by Linus Barry Tagang. Latifat Badmos, let's meet you, please. Okay, Linus, please, can you introduce yourself? We'll skip.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Linus Barry Sagan. I'm joining you from Jos Plateau State. I'm a volunteer with LRF, an editor with the University of Jos Printing Press. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, Linus Linus Barry Tagang, joining us from Jos Plateau State, Nigeria, an editor and one of our very, very reliable volunteers at LRF, an editor and I believe a master's student as well at the University of Jos, Nigeria. Thanks for joining us today. Next person I'll be calling is Rahim Anifa, followed by Isioma Opute. Rahim Anifa. Okay, Isioma, please, can you introduce yourself? And then lastly, we go to John Olugohumi.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right. My name is Isioma Favor Oputer, and I'm a recent graduate of International Studies and Diplomacy, and I'm joining in from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Isioma, graduate of International Relations and Diplomacy. Joining us from Abuja, I believe you said. Thanks for joining us today. Next person is John Olubohumi. Please, let's meet you.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is John Olubomi, and I'm joining in from Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. I'm not a student currently, but I'm a lifelong learner. But I'll be enrolling into a master's degree very soon, maybe in the next year or the next 2 years. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Lifelong learner joining us from, you said Lagos or Ibadan? Sorry, I'm not sure I got that. Trying to retrieve something from my system. While it's nice to, okay, I think there are some comments here.
Ibadan.
From Ibadan. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Latifat Badmos says, good afternoon. Please pardon me, I won't be able to introduce myself. She's in transit. So Latifat is in transit. She's not able to talk. I think Obanishola Eboluwa said, good evening, everyone. I'm joining from Osun State, Nigeria. I'm a student and I'm delighted to be here. I won't know if it's a she or a he. So she's not able to, or he or she's not able to unmute him or herself. So that is that. Is there any other person who has not introduced themselves who is here today? You have an opportunity to do that right away before we proceed to the discussion for today. Anyone to introduce themselves? Okay, let me just give you a brief background about LRF. LRF is the short or abbreviated form for Literary Renaissance Foundation. We are a non-profit that is set up to tackle the issue of poor reading culture in Nigeria, poor access to education, quality education, and learning. And what we started, I think we started in year 2018. And what we do at LRF, we try to sensitize people about the importance of reading, about the need for us to cultivate a healthy reading culture, because reading, learning, education is at the bedrock of development, national development, personal development, career development, and whatever development you may think of. It all starts with information, and you can only get information by reading, by learning, by studying, by having good access to educational materials and facilities. And we are strongly aligned to, I think there are like 12 or 20 sustainable, developmental goals of the United Nations, and education and learning is number 4 on that agenda, where, United Nations, all nations of the world agree that, we must provide equal access to education for every human being. That education is the fundamental right of every human being. Everyone living should have access to education. They should not be denied. And they should also be provided opportunities for lifelong learning. So it's not just to have quality education, it's to also now be able to access lifelong learning for as long as you live. So that means, because learning is a continuum. It's not something you do because you are in school. It's something that you must do forever, for as long as you breathe. And that is what the Agenda 4 is about. And that is what the Literary Renaissance Foundation is strongly plugged into, and what we are canvassing and advocating. Some of our programs, this is one of our programs that we do all year round. We convene these civic engagements or citizens deliberation dialogue, where we invite people, stakeholders, to come and talk about their experiences, their insights. Like I mentioned earlier, we also have a monthly book reading where we promote authors of Nigerian origin, Nigerians who have authored a book, who have published their books. We invite them to come and read from their book to us. So that holds every first Sunday of the month. So I need to maybe, so that I can focus. Just maybe I hope you guys will stay, because I'm at making co-host. So you don't get knocked out as well, and I have to be admitting you back in. Okay, so I have more co-hosts now to make the admission easier for whoever is joining. So we organize that program every first Sunday of the month, where we invite authors of Nigerian origin to come and read from their works to us, and we critique the work. We appreciate the efforts. We offer constructive criticisms, suggestions, and ideas on how they can improve on the current work or future works that they are working on. So we also do regular outreach to schools. We go to schools to go and talk to pupils about the importance of cultivating a healthy reading culture, making reading part of their day-to-day existence. So we do that on a regular basis. We go to schools. We've gone to schools in Ibadan. Most of the schools we've visited are in Ibadan. We've done schools in Lagos. We've done schools in Enugu, I think, yes, in Enugu, and in Akure as well. So wherever we have volunteers, we actually work with them to reach out to schools so that they can, we can go and talk to the students about the importance of reading, about what they need, because reading is also good for career development, academic success. So we let them know, hey, there's no need to explore shortcuts. You can always become great as you devote yourself to conscientious reading. So those are part of the programs we do at LRF. We also have a WhatsApp group. If you want to join our volunteers workforce, you can talk to Mary. Please let Mary know whichever way you want to join us. At least some of the volunteers are already here, as you can hear them when they were introducing themselves. We are always, because we work mostly with volunteers. Tomorrow, incidentally, is our Volunteers Appreciation Day. We usually appreciate our workers, our volunteers on a yearly basis. At the end of the year, we give those who are deserving. It's not everybody that we appreciate, but those who are deserving, those who have added considerable contributions to our work, to our what we did in the last calendar year. We appreciate them in January. And tomorrow we'll be having our Volunteers Appreciation Day for year 2024, appreciating them in year 2025, and we'll be giving them certificates, and some will also get cash, just a cash token from us to say thank you for all you've done with us in the course of the past calendar year. So this reading culture dialogue is one of our programs, and a background to read is also a very structured discussion. It's not just a discussion where we just come and talk and then come and talk because we want to talk. It's a very structured, deliberative dialogue. is patterned after the Catering Foundation's National Discussions Forum. There's this body in the United States that develop issue guides, just like every country in the world, just like Nigeria, every other country in the world has their issues. United States, they have their many issues. And there are bodies, there are organizations that actually aim to mobilize citizens to address those issues with the mind of letting those in authority, those who can take decisions, know what the people are saying and what they can do to fix some of those problems. So, Ketu Foundation is one of such bodies. What they do is that they develop issue guides, issue frameworks around some of the topical issues that are affecting the American people as a people or the nation as a whole. And they bring stakeholders, not experts, stakeholders, to come and talk, address those issues, come and share their experiences, share their insights, and what they've felt, what they've perceived, and what they feel can be done to address those issues. So we are using one of those frameworks that we have developed for the Nigerian context. Especially today, we are discussing STEM, quality of STEM education in Nigeria. And interestingly, this is the fourth part of that. I think, is it the third or the fourth part series in that of that discussion? We've been having various discussions. The last one we had, I think, maybe was it October now, or was it October? Yes, the last one we had in October. We invited professionals and students in STEM disciplines, most of them from the United States of America, and then from Europe. I think we had three participants from Europe, one or two from the United States of America, and then others from Nigeria. So who have passed through STEM education, STEM curriculum in Nigeria, let them come and share their experiences, what it was like, and what they also experienced in another clime. Then previously we also had, when we had school proprietors, school owners, tech experts to come and talk to us about, the practices of STEM discipline, where they were. Also, we had them from different parts of the world, STEM where they were, and STEM the way they knew it when they were in Nigeria or when they are still in Nigeria. So we had that discussion. Today will be like the conclusion of our STEM discussion, of our STEM, because it's so important. And why are we putting so much emphasis on STEM education? Because America, at some point, realized that America is like the frontline nation in terms of tech advancement and development. And they realized that they have efficiency of STEM graduates, of STEM professionals. They already knew what kind of deficiency they have, and they know that they have like 30,000 deficit by year 5 years time. There will be this deficit of STEM graduates, STEM professionals, and they're already making efforts, putting structures in place to encourage the students, people to go for STEM courses. But I'm not even sure Nigeria will be we're even thinking in that regard at all. we are our focus on entirely different things. And they know that STEM is at the foundation of national growth, to sustain development, and to continue to be a frontline nation in the world. And so those are some of the issues that we are looking at. Hey, what do we do about our own STEM? Are we even talking about it? So we are having this discussion so that all the reports that we come up with, we are sending them to educational authorities in our nation, across the federal, state, and maybe local level. Let them see what are Nigerians saying about STEM education in our country and about what can be done to address the tide if it's not favorable and turn the whole thing back on an upward trajectory. So that is what we are doing today, and we'll be using an issue guide, just like I said, to address this discussion. So the issue guide we'll be using today, I'll be sharing my screen shortly. Please, if you are going to read, I think I will have to, for those that introduce themselves, I think we'll just call you, or maybe so that we can do it in an orderly fashion. You'll be required to read just a paragraph, please. So we'll do that in a very orderly fashion. Mary, can you help us to list the names of people who are here so that they know how they are supposed to do the reading? So please just check your name in the chat with the number close to you. If the person before you does not read, maybe in like 5 seconds, then you can just pick up the paragraph and read, because some people are here, they are not able to talk. But those who are able to talk, please, we'll be inviting you to read the issue guide. And once we get to a portion, we would pause and then we would discuss. We'll engage the issue guide. What we just discussed, we'll share our experiences, we'll share our insights, what we've experienced, what we know about the issue that, or what we just read about. So because I'm sharing screen, I'm not seeing the chat now. So I'll be trusting my co-host to help with coordinating those who will read various portions of the issue guide with us. So I don't know who is the first person that has been chosen to read the first paragraph, please.
The first person.
Okay, great. Please start from the
Okay.
heading and then stop at
STEM.
experience. Then the next person will take off from there.
STEM curriculum in Nigeria. What are the gaps and how do we bridge them? STEM education is vital for Nigeria's economic growth and technological advancement, but the implication faces significant challenges. There have been some important forward steps in recent years. For example, the Federal Ministry of Education has made STEM subjects mandatory in schools. The Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, NERDC, has revised the national curriculum with initiatives such as the Basic Science and Technology curriculum to encourage early engagement. Specialized institutions like federal science and technical colleges have also been established to provide hands-on STEM experience.
Thank you. Next person, please. Stop here.
Okay.
However, the curriculum is still overly theoretical, often lacks relevance to modern fields like AI and robotics, and is delivered by underqualified teachers. Deficiencies in infrastructures and resources, particularly in rural areas, as well as cultural biases, especially against the girl child in STEM, have also hindered progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, please. And the next person after that person, read, please.
Sorry, I guess I'm the one.
Okay.
This
Please.
inadequate in STEM education threatens Nigeria's ability to produce skilled workforce, address critical issues like healthcare and infrastructure, and compete in the global economy. Without improvement, the country will face economic stagnation and high unemployment, leaving many unprepared for 21st century job market.
Thank you. Next person, please. Next person. Next person after that, please.
Okay. It is therefore important that these gaps are addressed if Nigeria is to harness the potential of its young population and position itself as a leader in the global economy.
Please read the next paragraph as well.
Today's dialogue is therefore aimed at addressing the highlighted concerns by asking the following questions. What are the gaps in the STEM curriculum in Nigeria, and how do we bridge them?
Thank you very much. So this is the portion where we'll just pause a little and we'll discuss based on our experiences about what we have experienced, what are our thoughts, our insights about what we just read. Because we just read this this portion of the issue guide. So please, if you did not introduce yourself earlier, please before you talk, let us know who you are, where you're joining us from, and what stakeholder are you? Are you a student? Are you a parent? Are you an educator? Or are you an agency official, I mean, an administrative person in the education industry? So please, does anybody have any ideas to share with us based on what we just read? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What do you think? Or your experiences that you've had in the past? Is this true or is this false? Do you have an insight that is not reflected in this portion of the issue guide we are using today? Anyone, please?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So, going by what I read, I am not a trained STEM teacher because I am an arts teacher. So, but what I can see from what I've read is that STEM education will improve Nigeria in more ways than we have started to use. And then it's saying that the application is very tardy. We have not fully embraced it, even though the government have been making some steps towards achieving it. So that is what I can say for now.
Thank you very much, Julius, for that. Does anybody agree with him or disagree? Please, let's hear from you, or you have a different thing to add to the discussion so far. Can we have contributions, please? Can we have discussion? Any thoughts?
Okay.
Please, yes, please.
Yes, overly from what we've read, I believe even without seeing it on screen, some of us have had experiences. We've seen some of these things. My family home is located behind the Federal Science and Technical College. But most of the times when you pass, just as we just said, you see more of theory than practical. You see the students walking up and down. You really, really don't know what is actually going on in that school. Most of you see a student that has left the junior secondary school and he tell that he's already in his SS class. Like you can just decide to just test him on something very simple. You see him getting confused over it, and at the end of the day, you see them celebrating the graduation without minding what they've actually learned. I want to talk from another perspective. As an editor in a university printing press, most of the times when some of these teachers, authors bring certain works for publication, you tend to see so many errors. You wonder, is it that they just look for different sources, just copy without themselves sitting down to go through it and see? Just yesterday, I saw one small girl. I think she should be in doing assignment, and then I picked the textbook that it's a handwriting workbook, I think, and then a published book with a wrong spelling of one science word like that, the very moment she takes that spelling in that book, it will be very difficult for you to convince her that this spelling is wrong in the near future, because right from when she was going, she had seen that, and then she had retraced it, and then her teacher marked it. So there are a lot of things that we're taking for granted. Yeah, and I love what we're doing here, honestly. I love what we're doing here.
Thank you very much, Linus, for that. I mean, we're very passionate about the fact that, well, beyond STEM, really, the quality of education generally in the country can be significantly better, because, people go to school, parents celebrate when their wards graduate from school without really, really even being concerned about what did they learn while in school. So we seem to place more emphasis on the school or the certificates than even the quality of learning that's from the parent end. I don't know if any parent is here that agrees with us or disagrees, or anybody has something else to add to that. Anybody willing to share with us, please? Let's hear from you.
Sorry, can I say something, please?
Please go ahead. Please, if you don't
Yeah,
introduce yourself, let's know who you are, where you're joining us from.
yeah,
And
my name is, sorry,
okay, please.
my name is Moses. I'm joining from UK. I'm a
Okay.
parent. I just want to say something regarding the STEM that we are talking about. I could remember those days when I was in school. I'm in secondary school this time around. Most of those things that we are taught then, it was until when we were about to write the WAEC, then most of the things, biology, chemistry, whatever, that we began to see them doing all this specimen, whatever. But these are things that students ought to have been familiar with, so that it will increase the understanding. They'll be able to see the implication and application of those things, so that students will stop cramming a lot of things, most especially at the point of writing the WAEC. Having said that, I believe the way technology is going now, I think we should do less of theory and much of practical, so that people can really solve the problem, even if it is immediate problem in their community. Say, for instance, if you look at, like, I'm into IT, and by the grace of God, I know the kind of technology that I'm using where I am now. I always tell people that I know that are very good for Nigeria, that this guy, I know some people that are better than me. Let me just tell the truth. But the challenge that they have is they don't have access to internet, they don't have access to electricity, and that has limited our guys. I always tell them, I say, you guys, you are better than me. Even if you have the opportunity that you guys, you will do much more. But the problem of the country still remains the same. I could remember those days when I was learning, I think, agriculture. They gave us the problem of agriculture then, right from GSS1 till when we graduated. Now, the problem of agriculture that we were taught then, they are still the same problem of agriculture in Nigeria today. It has never changed. No solution yet. Those bad roads that we've been taught right from 1990, the same bad road that we are still talking about now. Those problem of lack of storage facility, I could remember those things, we crammed them in GSS1. They are still the same problem now. So what I'm trying to say is, we have problems, and we've identified a long time ago, but there is no solution. So bringing some practical things to STEM will go a long way in solving problems, most especially those one within our community. And through that, the Nigeria country as a whole, we can have solution to some certain problems. I think practical is more important in the world that we have than the theoretical part of things that people are just cramming. And I met some doctors of recent, some of them said most of those things that they read in those anatomy, physiology, whatever, they've never used them in their profession in Nigeria. Until when they got to this page, they now see them and they're happy with their job. Can you imagine? Even at the levels of medical profession, let alone STEM, primary, secondary school, whatever. Even the university, they don't have it. Let alone people in secondary school. How are they going to have access to those things? I think we can encourage government anyway to do their best to help the next generation by making things available in school so that these students, they can know the essence of education. They will stop calling education scam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Moses. Moses is joining us from United Kingdom. So you can hear, based on what he's able to compare his own experience when he was in Nigeria and his experience when he's now in United Kingdom, things that he saw. It's obvious that you're able to see plenty gaps in terms of what should be that are not in our country. And you said something very, very fundamental, although it's very funny, that the problems that we identified, they taught all of us in school at certain, maybe in the 80s, in the 90s, unfortunately, there's still the same problem we are talking about today. There's not been any progress in terms of fixing those problems that have been identified ages ago. And the world keeps evolving, natures are advancing. How do we talk about development or advancement when we are not able to even identify or even solve some of the problems we've identified? Several years ago. Thank you very much, guys, for engaging the conversation. We'll be proceeding with our reading of the issue guide by looking at some of the options that we have that we feel maybe if these are considered, maybe we can be talking about resolutions to this issue. So I don't know if we take fresh people to read the guide for us, or we still go with the old people that help us to read the first part. Mary, do we have new names, or we are going with the new people, with old people that have read?
I added new names to it, but the
Okay,
list
please.
has not yet completed. Yeah, there are still names that I've not yet read.
Okay, please. If your name is next to Chioma, please, can we have you read for option 1 and stop at the end? Well, this is a very long read, man. You stop at fields, then somebody else will take from there.
So,
Okay.
Gloria Ibrahim Isioma John.
Okay, Gloria, please, can you start from option 1, and I will let you know when you're supposed to stop. Gloria, going.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please, can you read this portion of the document for us?
All right. Many public secondary
Oh,
schools
please,
in
sorry,
Nigeria.
from the option, from the red banner.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Option 1, collaborate with private stakeholders in STEM industries to develop a robust STEM curriculum and infrastructure. Many public secondary schools in Nigeria do not have the necessary infrastructure to deliver quality STEM instruction to the students. They often lack well-equipped science laboratories, internet access, and modern teaching tools, which hampers students' abilities to engage in practical hands-on learning. This deficiency is particularly problematic as STEM education thrives on experimentation, problem solving, and the application of theoretical knowledge to real world scenarios. Without adequate resources, students are left with a superficial understanding of STEM concepts, contributing to a lack of readiness for higher education and careers in science and technology fields.
Thank you.
This
Next person, no, sorry, thank you, Gloria. Next person should read from here, these options. Stop up needed.
All right. This option holds that state education boards should collaborate with private stakeholders in STEM industries to develop robust STEM curriculum and infrastructures. By engaging with businesses and organizations that have a vested interest in developing a skilled workforce, Nigerian high schools can receive the financial support and expertise needed.
Thank you very much. So we'll be taking some of the action suggestions that we have, and then the potential drawbacks for pursuing those action points. And so whoever is going to read now, you will read the action and then the drawback, the corresponding drawback. You read from the left column and then you end at the right column. So who is the next person, please?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Actions. The Ministry of Education should establish public-private partnerships where STEM companies invest in equipping schools with modern laboratories, digital tools, and internet access to facilitate practical learning. Drawbacks. Private companies may focus on schools in urban areas, leaving rural and under-resourced regions without similar support.
Thank you very
Action.
much. Sorry,
All right.
somebody else should take that, the next one, and then the drawback.
Action 2. Community leaders should engage the citizens and local business owners in fundraising initiative or resource mobilization to support STEM infrastructure development in secondary schools. And the drawbacks, wealthier communities may be able to raise more funds, while underprivileged areas may struggle to contribute enough, which will deepen inequalities in STEM education resources.
Thank you. Another person, please.
School administration. Okay, please.
Okay,
School administration should develop internship and mentorship programs for secondary school students where they can work with professionals in STEM industries to gain hands-on experience and exposure to career pathways. This drawback, these opportunities may be limited, and providing equal access to all students may prove difficult.
Thank you. And then the last is, what more can be done to develop a robust STEM curriculum and infrastructure? And what are the potential drawbacks for this option? So we'll throw the discussion back to the House. Please, let's share our experiences, let's share our insights. Do you have any experience around what we just read from this option 1 to the introduction, the recommendation, and then the drawback for following those recommendations? Please, you have the floor now, you have the mic. Anybody wants to share with us based on what we just read? Do you agree with these actions and the drawbacks? Or do you think there's something else that we can do or we can add to make STEM curriculum better and richer in our country and more accessible to the students?
Oh yes, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am. Please, let's get to meet you, where you're joining us from, and your role as a stakeholder.
Yes, I joined late because of some family engagement. I'm so sorry for that. I'm Olabisi Olashuko from Ibadan, a teacher and a volunteer for LRF.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I'll be speaking on Action 1. The Ministry of Education should establish public-private partnership with where STEM companies invest in equipping schools with modern laboratories, digital tools, and so on. Yes, this is a very practical approach to enhancing the implementation of STEM. And I would say that it had been practicalized, especially in Oyo State where I am and where I work as a teacher. I've experienced this in my former school, Aberdeen College. Even in the present school, I will talk about that of Aberdeen College, where they have a robust old student association, really investing, partnering with the government to invest in the school. And this has gone a long way to boost STEM education in that school. The school can boast of a very large computer room.
Wow.
With 24 complete set of a computer system.
Wow. Wow.
Powered by solar,
Wow.
powered by solar energy.
Mm-hmm.
And these are really improved the students' computer skills. And luckily, they have a computer teacher on ground that knows what he's doing. And not only that, the old students was structured in such a way that different sets would handle different projects. And this had gone a long way to help the school. When one set did that of the computer room, building and equipping the computer room, another set took up the different laboratories, the physics lab and the chemistry lab, most importantly, were revamped. And I, as a teacher there, entering this lab was awed at the level of the richness of the equipment that were fixed up for these laboratories. And majority of these students were, for the first time in their lives, I am talking about 2021, 22. The project was for that year, from 2021 to 2022. I left Aberdeen College 2022 March, and by then all these things were in place. Now you can see the quality of the job. Even the teachers, the pace of their work picked up because the equipment were then available. And most of these topics that had been taught theoretically were now be fully implemented. Wow. So I wouldn't underestimate or overemphasize. In fact, it can be overflogged. Governor-private partnership in getting infrastructures to our schools can never be overemphasized, because we cannot rule out the fact that one of the major problems militating against quality implementation of STEM in Nigeria is lack of infrastructures majorly. And added to that is lack of personnel. Luckily, the government of Oyo State is trying in recruiting personnel. At least in the past, the governor is running his second tenure. And for each tenure, he has employed quality teachers, and based on merit, not just man knows man. So, and this is going a long way in improving the implementation of STEM in my state. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ajia, for that. I mean, you can see what a partnership between government or between the schools and private sector can bring. See, from what Ajia was describing, how that lifted the profile of that school, lifted the spirits of students, of even the teachers themselves, in terms of learning, in terms of dispersing knowledge, and the overall experience of education generally. Okay, I see that Deborah is raising her hand. Deborah, please, you have something to add or to say. Deborah, please, you have the mic now. You can talk.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I was talking about the option one, and I'll be giving my experience. I attended secondary school in those states. It's one of the most popular all-girls secondary school. But I could tell you that throughout my stay in that college, I did not enter a lab to do any experimenting. I think a week in exams. And these instruments are borrowed. They're borrowed. They were collected from people and they were going to return them back. They're not school's property. And this is a very big secondary school.
Wow.
So it's not just about my school. There are so many secondary school, government secondary school, public school rather, who are experiencing such thing. A very good example, titration, which is a very popular experiment in chemistry. I had no idea of it. And I finished from our Polytechnic OND SLT sometime last year. And if not because of the 3 months IT, that industrial training I did, I will have no idea of any of the practicals. Because we are going for practicals science under the sun every day. But what are we doing? Nothing really. For some of the courses we're taking, we're not really participating to whatever we have to do. Right? And she was talking about the one I just spoke was talking about oath association, right? I think one thing I got is that it's only the people who have grown that want others to grow. Because a person who finished from a secondary school where there was nothing like instruments, there was nothing like any practicals, and attended a university where there was nothing like that too. And the person is trying to, it's not working with his or her results, they're trying to do 1 or 2 things. There is no way the person will really, really want to invest in something like that. And that's as talking about secondary school teachers. A secondary school teacher who went to a secondary school, no equipment, university, no equipment, and had no experience, like physical experience. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. The person just know theory, and that's what you expect person to teach others. You will not give what you don't have, right? So even thank God for internet, and thank God for the fact that we have access to YouTube videos and things like that. I was attending a tutorial one time where they will not give you a link to watch videos online from Americas or all those countries that are developed, to watch videos online to see what they are teaching you, because they can't show you. They don't have the equipment. They don't have the knowledge. You could give them that thing now, they really know how to use it. I think it's more on the government, because there's some private school really who have the opportunity and who have the funds to do this thing and make sure that everything is going well for their students. Well, I can tell you that a poor man cannot even think of going to such school. Where we get one person that not even think of eating 3 square meal, want to take his child. It's not like they don't want to, right? But how will they be able to afford it? So I think in essence, one of the says that it's really on the government. I think they are some are just like they are spending more on what they shouldn't be spending more. I think they should invest on. We said Nigeria children are the leaders of tomorrow, but we are not showing them how to lead. We are not teaching them. We don't give them the things they need to lead. We just say the leaders of tomorrow go to school, spend 8 hours in school, and come back nothing to show for. Just write exams here and there, and I don't know. It's just somehow.
Thank you very much, Deborah. Obvious that you feel very passionate about this issue, and your choice of words also. I mean, you can't give what you don't have. We also, addressing even government own role to play in this as well, because at the end of the day, education is actually the fundamental right of every citizen in a country, and the government has to provide that as social services to the people. I see that Linus is raising his hand. Linus, you have something to add to the discussion before we proceed to the next option.
Yes, sir. You see, while Deborah was speaking, I was just busy smiling. You see this issue of going to another place to borrow instrument, to borrow things that you go, but at the end of the day, you'll be using it with this feeling that you are supposed to finish it because you return it. even here in international institution, and when they are coming for accreditation, that's why you see most departments going to other institutions to get books, like they come and stock up their libraries.
Oh God.
I have a friend that was arrested by police because that they saw him with human skull, and he took this for study. He proved to them, he showed ID card, he showed everything that he's a medical student. But because these people were just out there to collect what they want to get, so there's nothing that you tell them. The next thing they will tell you that by the time you finish and become doctor, now you now come and start looking down on us. And there was something that happened here. I think our current unit auditor, when his dad was the director of Plateau Steps to Management Board, he introduced something, the Xbox, whereby you see government will allocate money for drugs to most of these primary health cares and hospitals. You realize that they will just buy and put in one hospital. So when they are coming for supervision for inspections, if they are coming to this hospital, they will rush, then they will transfer the drugs there, not knowing that the man, once he goes to the store, he has a particular pen that every box that he sees there, he marked. So after he left a particular healthcare, another one, before you reach there, they had already transferred those things that he had seen in
the next place.
Upon inspection, you were like, okay, this is my mark. I marked this in so hospital. How did it get to this place? While I'm just visiting this one particular place. Before you knew it, that man was removed from that position. You see, when government allocates money for research as well, researchers now, some researchers that are not serious use it to add wives, especially in northern part of Nigeria. We see that they use it to add cars, to add wives, to build houses. Of recent, I think there's one institution in Kaduna, I don't want to call the name, that money was released for revamping of biological lab, physics and chemistry lab. At the end of the day, ICPC had to come and nothing was done. And every year, this very institution graduate students that are out, you see them sign up, you see them celebrate. So these are some of the problems. That no matter how individuals try, government try, there are the bad egg will always be there, but we can't just stop. We can't just stop.
Wow.
We just have
Thank you very much, Linus, for that. I mean, you also even not just let us wait. Government is actually even putting money into some of these things, but even corruption at the medium or even the lower level of administration are also hindering the efforts of the government from materializing, and then also blocking the students, affecting the teachers also. I think Ajia is raising a hand. Please, Ajia, please, you have the floor now.
Oh, yes. I want to direct my comments to Deborah. I really feel her pains, her emotions as she was reacting, obviously. Wow. And I want to let her know. Thank God for the previous examples that Linus has given as per the efforts of the government. The problem of Nigeria stems from the individual. Governments are part of us. These people that are in government were taken right from amidst us. So it's just a reflection of who we are as a nation. She said something that someone that has gone through that experience without having that experience and probably battling with poverty may definitely not want to come and give back to the alma mater. Yes, it's quite true. Some people may be incapacitated, but that doesn't mean that that should be our mindset, that since we couldn't enjoy this, and now we know better. Even with the little we have, we can strive to make the change, to make the correction. Imagine when government establishes a policy, the government will not be the personnel on ground to implement. When personnel are involved in that level of corruption, I've experienced it in one of my former schools. I won't mention name, but the home economics laboratory was equipped with modern gadgets. And within a session and a half, these gadgets were nowhere to be found.
Wow.
So I found by different personnel on ground. Or what do we say of a generator set donated to a school to help power computers and the likes? For the head of that school to accrue something as his own personal property at home. It's as bad as that. So majority of this problem is not to be blamed on our government. Yes, the government carries the bulk of the blame, but we as a people, we are also to be blamed as part of the larger problem.
Okay.
And that problem is who we are as a people.
Corruption
has eaten deep into the fabrics and to the very roots, our core essence. May God deliver us from that. Corruption, that is the word.
Thank you very much, Ajia, because I mean,
looking forward to you going back to that school. God would make way for you.
Exactly.
Go back and make sure the other students there do not experience what you have experienced. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ajia, for that. I mean, I like the fact that you also even see government officials, even individual. These are people, just like Linus also mentioned, is people that are behind these things, and we ourselves. And some of these people are the ones that they will be very vocal in condemning government, in condemning government officials. Yet what they are doing also in their own domain is worse than what the people that they are criticizing are doing. Deborah, I think that you are raising your hand. You have a final comment, and then we can move to the next so that we can save time. Deborah, quick in 40 seconds.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Please proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Ma, for what you said. I think one thing I want to add, when I say government, I'm not just saying the president or the senators. Government boils down to both local governments as the local school are around, public school around. So these are people too. Government are humans, and these are people too. When we're talking about government, like these people that are put in, take for example, the guy them that was talking before have mentioned something about one of his friend's father that was in a position that was doing the right thing, but was removed. Who removed the person? The government. It might not be the president in quotes, but there are people placed in the position that is supposed to lead. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that we're in a position where we are leading people, and it's not private, so definitely it's government, right? So as much as Nigerians are corrupt, and one thing that someone said to me was, people make places don't make people. So in Nigeria, you want to be, let it be you who make it. Start with something. And let's say, for example, me as a person, I like, okay, I'm going back to this school and make a donation. And I have a principal who works for the government and who is so engrossed in bribery and corruption and so loves money to a fault. No matter what I did, they may even buy that instrument. Take, for example, will I be there with them forever? No. The Old Girls Association from my school, they did so many things. I think there was a time they brought computers to our computer lab, and we were taught animation, I think for a day. Who learns animation in a day? Who learns animation in it? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that, yes, there are people who do these things, are personnel but they work for the government. Because I'm talking about public school, not just private school. So they work for the government, and they are part of the government, and they're part of this corruption, and they're part of this bribing and everything that is wrong with Nigeria. Thank you
very much, Deborah, for you see further try to buttress your point that and then putting more context to it. Thank you to every one of you who is actively engaging this. Our discussion is getting really interesting, listening to our various perspectives on this matter. Now we'll proceed to option 2 of our issue framework for today. And I don't know if we'll start from beginning or we'll continue with new people. So whoever is going to read option 2 for us, please let's start from option 2 from the red banner, and then you stop at youth.
Work with professionals at home and in the diaspora to deliver a Nigeria-made STEM curriculum and infrastructures. In Nigeria, there's a mismatch between the current curriculum and the demands of the 21st century industries. As a result, students are not adequately prepared to tackle real-world problems or compete in emerging fields like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and renewable energy. The lack of industry-aligned training has created a gap between the skills that Nigerian graduates possess and those needed in high demand STEM-related fields, contributing to high unemployment rate among the youth.
Thank you. Next person, please. Read from furthermore. Mr. Patso.
Nigeria suffers from a brain drain, where many of its best STEM professionals have relocated abroad in search of better opportunities. According to a study by the Nigeria Diaspora Commission, many Nigeria STEM experts works in the US and other countries have experienced to Nigeria's development, but lack of platform or opportunity to do so.
Thank you. Next person, please. Starting from there and then you ending here.
This option holds that STEM professionals, both at home and in diaspora, should work together to deliver a Nigerian-made STEM curriculum and infrastructures that will align with the cultural peculiarities in Nigeria. The exposure of the professionals in the diaspora to advanced technologies and global best practices can help address the current gap and make STEM education more relevant to Nigerians' development needs.
Thank you. So we'll take the action and the corresponding drawback, please. Who's reading for us? We can start all over again if there's no new person to read.
Government should establish a formal network for STEM professionals in the diaspora to collaborate with local educators and institutions in curriculum development. For the drawback, coordination challenges may arise due to the geographic dispersion of diaspora professionals, as well as differences in time zone and availability.
Thank you. Next person, please. Maybe I saw that you were trying to read earlier.
The Ministry of Education should organize time-focused teacher training and professional development programs led by diaspora professionals, focusing on modern teaching techniques and industry-specific skills. Drawback: some disadvantaged schools, for instance, those in rural and under-resourced areas, may not have the facilities needed for this modern teaching.
Next person, please.
Local STEM enthusiasts and community organizations can collaborate with STEM professionals in the diaspora to organize STEM workshops and science fairs that provide hands-on learning experiences. Drawback: consistent follow-up events may face declining participation if there is no ongoing local support or sufficient resources to build the momentum.
Okay, so the last question is, how else can we deliver a Nigerian-made STEM curriculum and infrastructure to our students? What are the potential drawbacks for this option? So we'll come back to discussion again, and we'll hear from you guys. What do you think? Is it even workable? I mean, will it work? We're talking about government working with STEM professionals in the diaspora, somebody like Moses, who actually practices STEM in the UK. It's a Nigerian in diaspora. I mean, and we have many people like that in different parts of the world. What do you think? Will it work? What are your views? What are your opinions? What are your experiences about these solutions we are proposing? Unfortunately, Deborah, I won't call you now. Maybe if others have spoken or we don't have, then I would listen to them. Somebody else, okay. Abdulhamid, let's hear from you.
All right. Good evening, sir. My name is Abdul Hamid Otaru Abdul Malik, and I am speaking from Sokoto. I actually believe it is possible if the plan is put into place for it to actually work. In terms of the drawback, for example, if the collaboration has been made between the STEM professionals and diaspora and our local educators, then now the facilities needed for these intentions to be possible should also be put in place. Like the issue of, for example, if it's going to be like an online stuff like this, the platform should be made available, one. And then in terms of connectivity, because I think I saw something about coordination challenges. Now, connectivity would be one of the coordination challenges we might get. So maybe like we have the internet, satellite internet currently, like that of remote Starlink, and then we should consider this the environment we are, and possibly the local networks we do have that are best available in that particular place should actually be ones put in place to use for the whole. So that's my take on.
Thank you very much, Abdulhamid, for that. Any other person willing to share with us, please? Okay, Linus, you are raising your hand.
Yes,
If
I
will
I
listen to Deborah.
I 100% agree with what Abdul
Abdulhamid,
just.
yeah.
We have a lot of Nigerians that are in diaspora that are so passionate about this country. They want to see things work because they are enjoying what other people have put in their sweat, their effort to see that it works.
Yeah.
We've had several confabs. Every beginning of year, they set committees, they sit for meetings, they collect allowances. It's so painful. I see it, I feel it day in and out. Sometimes I go for certain meetings, and at the end of the day, the meeting will just finish. They will force you to write reports. You will not see anything that is being implemented from that meeting. Follow up is very, very important. But sometimes when you follow up, they tend to see it as if you are just disturbing. I don't know whether they want those people to live where they are to come back and make it work. I don't know, but I just know that Nigerians will have this attitude of never giving up. There are people that will not relent until they see that it works.
Yeah.
And I love this generation. I love things that are actually just going on now in this country. Yes, we have other people that just feel that it just have to just be illegal. There are people that just want it to go legally the correct way. And it's happening. One day we'll all laugh at what we're doing because we'll see results. I will all be there.
Amen. I say amen to that. Thank you very much, Linus, on that very upbeat note. I mean, I think you and Abdulhamid actually nailed the issue on the head. Yeah, we need the diaspora, but we also need commitment, local commitment from our people, from government. You guys are not even talking about the education administrators again, because they also have a role to play. If the diaspora are investing their time, investing their resources, how do we ensure accountability? How do we ensure that those things that are being put in place? Ajia talked about the school where she worked, what they have there from. That's not, maybe some of them are in the diaspora. Those are even alumni. I mean, all students association. What if there's no, maybe that's cool. God forbid, some years down the line, they have not such a good person as the admin, and then so those things they have, they put in place start to disappear or start to fall into disrepair. So I think all hands have to be on deck so that we can make this work. Okay, Deborah, you can talk now.
Thank you, sir. I think I'll start by asking a question. There are people who are outside the country who are desperate and they want to, they may not have the finance or to sponsor this thing, but they have the idea, they know what they are doing, and they just know everything. And the question is, will our country want to afford it? We don't want to invest in it. I think sometimes people don't really see investment as a good thing. If it's not giving them something now, they're not getting reward from it now, they don't want to invest in it. Right? So that aside, I think we should also work on Nigeria, we should work on our mentality. We should grow.
Okay.
They're saying that take us out the bus. So I think it's not enough to have people who want to do this thing, but what's backing them up? Who are people who are in the country, not outside the country this time, who are in the country, who have the same mindset, who share from the same idea, I want to do this thing. Now, let's say, for example, there are not people who have the idea or something. There is access to internet right now. This is something that we could, you already know that if I check for this, so example, a particular experiment, there are also tools. If I go online, I know that I will see the tools, get the tools, right? Get the instruments rather. And you might not be able to use it, but this is where teaching practice coming, because it's saying that practice makes perfect. So you as a teacher or lecturer, owner of a school or whatsoever, you could just, okay, let's do this, let's practicalize it. This whole thing, someone started it and nobody taught the person. I'm saying just in case there's nobody who know it before. come online, do research, and let's just grow, in quote. I think everything I'm trying to say is that we should grow and grow in our mindset, grow in our knowledge, and just that basically.
Thank you very much, Deborah, for that. Still, I may be agreeing with Linus and Abdulhamid, even though maybe not in the same, using the same words. But I think what I just still infer from what you're saying is the local commitment. I don't know if you are disagreeing with the fact that, okay, Ajay, you want something. Maybe you are disagreeing with the fact that the diaspora should not even do anything at all. But the point is that if they even do, I mean, how, to what extent are we going to guarantee probity, honesty, integrity from the local people in managing the resources that are put in place? Ajay, please, you have the floor, and then we'll hear from Ibrahim Jafar.
Thank you once again. Honestly, it's an uphill task, but that doesn't mean we can't get there.
Yeah.
Just have to start from somewhere. The issue of corruption is been entrenched, and it cannot be blown away with a whiff. But then, I still believe that we still have people who are passionate about service to humanity. Educators should be humanitarians. They should be passionate about the job. If not, they tend to fall into the trend of corruption and become liability to the system. But be that as it may, I still believe strongly that people in the diaspora have a lot to give back in helping people back home. And yes, we still have good ones that will make sure that what is being given is being implemented appropriately. We can't rule out the bad eggs, but that doesn't mean that we should now fold our hands. That since people are not, people will do this and probably jeopardize, probably hamper it shouldn't be done. We have passionate people, passionate teachers that would really deliver to these students. So if we have just even one teacher that will do that, it will go a long way, and gradually such would inculcate same integrity in his or her students. And before we know it, we will get there. We will get there. Currently in the school I am, I have attracted many NGOs because of the passion I have for the development of my students. There is no NGO that will come to my school that won't get involved. And we still have teachers like that. And our students are benefiting. People who follow me on Facebook will see a post I made just last time, first week in December. UI brought a letter to my school inviting us for a competition. In less than 24 hours, our students were to be trained in web designing, and we be tested on what they have been taught right there. We didn't even know what it's involved. We just saw the letter. When the letter was brought, my principal was skeptical that the invitation was coming rather late. So, but I mean, she was in her office. She sent for me that the only person that could make this possible is Mrs. Adegoke. Go and call her. That was how I was called. That this letter came. Could we, looking at the time gap, I said it's doable. Even then, the school is wrapping up. Students were not around. So I just read the letter, got out of the principal's office and looked around. I was calling students. You have any little knowledge about computer? And that was how I was able to pick just 2.
Wow.
And we went for the competition. There were students from private schools. OBMS was there. Another Baptist was there. ISI was there. And which other school? At the end of the day, after the first round, 6 schools went for the final round. And you won't believe it. My students that I just handpicked came first.
Wow, beautiful.
In fact, I was I was overjoyed is even an understatement because I never expected it.
Wow.
Getting there and seeing all these private school students that are used to computer daily, and my own students that do not have access to computer. The two students I took along, one said the father has a computer at home. I said, good.
Wow.
You know how to press it, Abby. The other one said, my mom works in one computer center. I said, good. And this, when we got there, the whole thing was open. Wow. There was a lecturing section on web designing, and they had access to the computer. They were seated right there. Wow. And the only helping hand I gave them was sensing it's going to be a web design thing. I just picked up enough pictures to go along so that if at the end of the day we are to design our own website and open a website for the school, we have items there. So that was how I gave them those pictures as content for our website. And that was the passion I had made me thought far ahead other teachers. That was the only edge we had against those private schools. They came quite all right, but they didn't come with enough content to upload on their website. That was how my school came first out of the 6 finalists. And my students were given mini computer. Personally, was customized for each of those 2 students. And the school was given a modem, and myself, I was given a modem.
That's nice.
So, if passion is just the word, once we have people who are committed and are passionate about what they are doing, we will impact in these students' lives. And I must tell you, we have youth today, going by the tone of Deborah, if she is magnanimous enough to venture into the education sector, I believe she will deliver. We have people like that all over. It's only for us to discover them and let them be in the forefront affairs. But I know it will go a long way before we can rule out nepotism and corruption. But we will get there someday. Thank you.
God's grace. Thank you very much, Adia, for even sharing that personal experience, your own school, and how you guys were able to prepare even at very short notice. And and it still boils down to passion, commitment, local commitment. We're talking about diasporans, and then when they come, because diasporans are already established, they are settled in their own countries, in their own profession where they are working, they won't be there locally. So we need that collaboration between them and then those who are on ground. And if those who are on ground, they have the same passion as you, the same passion that you just identified in Deborah, that means we can make this work. I will take Ibrahim and then Amos, and then we'll go to the next option for discussion. Ibrahim, you have the mic now. Please, let's hear from you. Ibrahim Jafar. Okay, Amos, please, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just want to buttress what Deborah and Mrs. Ola Supo said just now.
Okay.
That in terms of willingness on the part of the government, so government must have the right attitude and must be willing to really invest in this STEM education. And Madam said something about corruption, which is another issue. Let me just give this example. Last year, I was with a deputy director in Abuja regarding the LRF partnership. I don't want to mention the ministry yet. And the DD was telling me that day that, Amos, do you know that one of the issues I'm having is that because this program, the people in charge may not benefit from this program in terms of money. But it being something that maybe the NGO is coming to give money to the ministry to sponsor a program, that they will get their own cut from it, that they will have approved this program. But because they will not get money from it, because of their self-interest, it's not there. That's why they are dragging the program or the partnership, which I won't mention the ministry. So the people in power, in government, must be willing to invest in this program. Then the issue of that corruption that everybody has been mentioning since is a very strong opposition to this stem of a thing. So if you can reduce the issue of corruption, and if the people in government or the government is willing to invest in it, that is a political will, I will call it now, to really invest in that STEM education, it really go a long way in achieving the goal. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Amos. Also, I mean, giving us a perspective on that, because yes, I mean, just like we've been saying, I mean, collaboration between government and private sector. No, I mean, I'm glad that Amos also mentioned, I mean, our own experience, because he represented us in talking to one of the ministries. There were things we intended to do with them to better access to education for Nigerian students and all that. But we just keep going back and forth, and it's still part of what we're saying about local commitments, and even those in administrative positions. How are they making it easy for collaboration to take place? Because government alone cannot do it, and this is not President Tinubu or whoever is the vice president blocking access to education or to quality education for people. These are government officials. So I mean that we can't remove the importance of that commitment, that passion. If they have passion for quality education for the Nigerian students, they won't be thinking about what they can get for themselves. They will rather be thinking about the people that they are going to serve, they're going to help. And I mean, that still brings us to the issue of corruption and what have you. What do we do to actually even solve this and make life better, make the quality of our education better for all the stakeholders involved, from students even to the parents. Now we'll proceed to the last option as we begin to round off our discussion for today, and then we'll listen to our note takers. As we're talking, we have a couple of us there who are helping us to take notes of all the things we have discussed, and then they will share with us the notes that they've taken during the course of our discussion. So we'll start from option 3, and then we now start to round off our discussion for today. So option 3, who is going to read for us? And then you stop at experiments.
All right. Solicit the partnership and investment of foreign educational authorities in the development and implementation of STEM curriculum. One of the persistent challenges facing Nigeria's STEM education is the lack of sufficient funding and technological infrastructure to support a 21st century curriculum. Public schools, in particular, suffer from inadequate facilities such as laboratories, computers, and internet access, making it difficult for students to engage in hands-on learning and practical experiments.
Thank you. Next person, please.
A report by UNESCO notes that these deficiencies hinder students' ability to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, which are crucial in STEM fields. There is therefore a need for external support to enhance Nigeria's capacity to deliver high-quality STEM education.
Thank you, ma'am. Next person, read from here.
Nigeria government should solicit the partnership and investment of foreign education authorities in the development and implementation of STEM curriculum. Through this partnership, Nigeria can benefit from both the financial investments and expertise needed to revamp its STEM curriculum and infrastructure. This is also
Thank you. So we need volunteers for the action and then the corresponding drawback. Please.
Action 1. The Ministry of Education should establish bilateral agreements with foreign educational bodies to share resources, knowledge, and technological innovations in STEM education.
Okay.
Drawback. there might be bureaucratic delays in securing these partnerships, particularly in obtaining the necessary governmental approvals.
Thank you. Next person, please. Second option.
Citizens and local communities should be empowered to advocate for and participate in international STEM programs and partnerships, which will foster equal ownership and accountability in their implementation. For the drawbacks, local communities may not have the necessary information or networks to effectively participate in or influence international partnerships.
Thank you. The last option.
Okay. Government should facilitate capacity building workshops led by foreign experts to train Nigerian educators on innovative STEM teaching methods and curriculum development. Drawback: without continuous follow-up and local support, teachers may struggle to apply the new methods consistently in their classrooms, especially in under-resourced areas.
Okay, thank you very much. And what else can we do to ensure the development and implementation of STEM curriculum in our country? And what could the potential drawbacks for those options be? So let's have we've had a very fantastic, engaging discussion today. Let's address these actions, proposals, and then the corresponding drawbacks that were identified to them. What do you think? Will this work or will this not work? If it's going to work, do you think it will work the way it was captioned there, or maybe it's just something we need to do differently? So please, you have the floor now, whoever wants to contribute. We really appreciate we can have some of those who have not spoken anything at all, people who have not talked at all. Please, you can try and so that we hear from you as well. And you're not just here in maybe in picture or in name alone. There are some who have pictures, some who have just names. We would like to hear from those who have not talked before. Please, let's try and address these options and the drawbacks. What are your thoughts? What are your experiences around them? And what do you think can be done differently? What do you think can be emphasized? What do you think can be tweaked from all these possible actions and the drawbacks? Anyone, please, willing to talk? Anyone willing to share with us? Anyone? Nobody at all. Okay, can we hear from those who have spoken before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please proceed.
All right. I just want to emphasize the importance of this action of action, which was
Ibrahim, there seems to be some background noise where you are. Can you maybe change location or try and fix your audio so we can
all
hear
right.
you?
I've moved away from there.
Okay,
Okay, sorry
thank you.
about that. So, what I'm saying is that the importance of advocacy, like educating people about the importance of STEM education and what we can do to enhance it, to make it more functioning, because a lot of people would not really know. Even it's not only in the case of STEM, it cut across other aspects of developments too.
Okay.
It cuts across a lot of people, especially the local ones. It's not even the local ones alone. There are some of our educated elites too, that they are just educated, like they are not they do not really they are just educated, like they do not know what is going on in the open field out there. They just know about their local stores and what they know. So the importance of advocacy is very, very important. Educating them, letting them do the educating them about the importance, and by then, if they understand the reason why all these things should be put in place, then maybe they can also support it with their futures, and they will also be an advocate for it also. So
Okay. Thank you, Ibrahim Jafar, for that. I mean, you are just looking at it from the perspective of advocacy. Okay, I mean, we need to have people who are championing this cause, who are advocating for improved quality of education, improved or better resources and infrastructure for our schools. And what we're doing now is actually like an advocacy initiative in a way. But more people need to do this. More people need to be talking, to be making the noise, the right noise to the right here, so that people in authority, those in positions of power, can hear, and maybe they can actually start to do the right thing by our schools, by our pupils, by our nation at the end of the day. Thanks for that. Any other person willing to share with us what you think can be done? Particularly, we're looking at this action policies, or what are the drawbacks? If you think there's something else you can add, what are the things you think we can add? What are the things can still be done in addition to all this? And what could be the drawbacks to them? Anyone willing to talk?
Okay.
Okay, please go ahead.
Where is my?
Okay, okay. I think Grace is
Okay.
okay. Please, Deborah will take you after we've heard from Grace Flora. So Grace
Okay,
Flora.
I think most of the points that what I wanted to say has been said already, but I'm just imagining in my mind that for this time to go further, to go far, government needs to be involved. They are the ones that can really drive it across the nation, nationwide. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe schools can come together. They should just let down their own motto and the rest and come together for a common goal to drive home this thing. Because I know that if you keep saying something, hammering on it, you are not deviating consistency, and you are persistent with it will get to government table. And then some of these proprietaries and proprietors, they are close to the corridor of powers. They know first ladies, they know some governors and even senators and commissioners. It's something that schools can actually come together, put it on paper, and send it to the House of Rep. Because if governments put their stamp on it, it will go far. I mean, it will go faster and further too.
Okay, thank you very much. Because I mean, that's still like agreeing with what Jafar is saying, but you even said that we should have more or less like a coalition of advocates now, where schools come together, those who are proprietors, proprietresses, when they come together as a nucleus to
umbrella body, under one umbrella body.
To try and that's still like the power of advocacy. They talking about these things. We need to have this in schools. We need to do this for the students. We need to do this for our nation. And let's see what that can actually fetch us in terms of what it can result in. Okay, quickly we take Deborah, and then we take Isioma and John as we round off our session for today, and then we listen to our note takers. Deborah, you have 40 seconds again. Let's try and keep it brief.
Yeah, I think first thing I want to mention, I think a drawback to what Grace Flora said is pride. Yeah, because I'm talking about private schools, private bodies, where a person might just come up and have his own idea. Okay, let's come up with something. Because I was about mentioning unity. But I think one thing that affects Nigeria, that we are not united. We may all have the same goal, the same thing in mind, but if a person speaks it, I don't think they want to. It's a private body. This school wants to make money. Everybody wants to make money. And person brings out something like this, they feel like I beg you. Sorry for using that. Or about me, it's about my school and stuff like it's just everybody wants to. I think one thing is that we Nigerians should stop thinking about ourselves and ourselves only. Life is not only about you. life does not run around your circle only. I think that's one point. Another thing is it still boils down to the government. Because private schools are talking about private, then government school, they are the one in charge of public schools. Government are the one in charge of public school, be it the president or the lowest level, even down to the local areas. Government are the one in charge. So I think the government should listen, because I've noticed sometimes that when people speaks up, they tend to find a way to always shut people, especially when they're saying the right thing for the right purpose. They always they seem to always find a way to shut such person. And there is no way to grow if that is happening. And it still goes down to the government.
Okay. Thank you very much, Deborah. So your own is still like, well, I mean, we first talked about unity of vision, even when people are talking of let's come together to address this. How many people are really willing to work with others? Everybody, maybe they may still be looking at their own self-interest and that may also now affect progress, because if some people are like, let's go this way, and some people are like, let's go that way because of their own selfish interest, we will still achieve what we're supposed to achieve. Isioma, you have the mic now. Let's hear from you, and then we'll take John, and then we'll hear from our next today.
Thank you so much. So what I would like to say is that I feel a lot of points have been raised about what the government can do, action plans and the rest. But I would like to state that what we need more to these actions are plans and structures for monitoring. Oftentimes, we've had times that government would release infrastructures, their tools, but somehow, somebody raised this issue that these tools will just disappear from nowhere and the rest. So I think the government has to have a structure to monitor it. If we are giving so and so to these particular schools for STEM stuff, it should be properly documented and monitored. So if after 3 months we are going back to these schools to realize that these things are not functioning, there should be somebody that would be accountable, that we are going to, that the government can hold. Okay, we delivered this to your school. How come these structures are not working? How come they are not properly functioning? So it's not just about the actions, because I feel like we have a lot of good action plans, but what would make these things come to a reality is when we have a good way to monitor and evaluate the progress so far. And then I would also like to add that as people, as individuals, we also have to take it up personally. Someone still raised the issue of individuals even going as far as stealing this equipment that the government have and they sell it off. That's to tell you that as a people in Nigeria, some people just have like negative mindset. They don't even care. They just want to make money quickly. So I think we have to come to that point that we don't just want to get money instantly or want to do things at the that would cause disadvantage to other people. We have to just be upright and honest. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Isioma, for that contribution. What you just, I mean, that yes, just as we were saying, government should do, but what about the monitoring mechanism? How do we monitor what has even been done? How do we monitor what is going to be done, what is going to be released in terms of resources, so that they don't fall into the wrong hands and they don't shift places from where they should be to somewhere else? And know that also comes to commitment on the part of government in not just making resources available, but also providing a monitoring system to ensure that things that should be there are there, things that should be used are used, and people benefit from those resources. John, you'll be the last contributor for today before we listen to our note takers. John, you have the mic now.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for the contribution to everybody. What I'd like to say is beyond the bureaucracy in government, we have complacency, and this complacency cuts across not just Nigeria, and it goes outside Nigeria to other nations in the world. But Nigeria's own is also very, very unique. There's complacency, there's bureaucratic bottlenecks, and also the big elephant in the room, that's corruption. So that's what makes Nigeria's own very unique. But and these things will really hamper the implementation of any strategy to see the STEM education and implementation of STEM activities across the nation effective, to make it effective and also profitable. So I feel if private organizations can, that's actually the best option, right? Because, for example, one of the leading research institutes across, that's in Africa, is in Nigeria, is IITA. The impact of IITA cuts across not just Nigeria, it cuts across sub-Saharan Africa and Africa in general. And this institute is not a government-owned institute, it's a private-owned institute, but they have a relationship with governments and other. So if we have this kind of institutions, private bodies coming together to establish and push forward STEM in Nigeria, I think it will really go a long way and not just always depend on the government to do these things. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, John, for that. I mean, you've said it all. I mean, I like the fact that you actually even cited IITA, which is like a good model for us to talk in terms of partnership, but essentially private driven, but with government buy-in, because IITA has this effect across Africa, and it's not a government-owned organization, but they work in concert with the government, or the blessing of the government, that they are making their impact. And if we can actually replicate that model in our STEM curriculum, in our education system, maybe we'll also have a better showing in terms of improved quality of education to our children, better infrastructures in our schools, and national development, because at the end of the day, all these things still dovetails down to national development. They lead to, because once people get quality education, they are able to make better meaningful contributions to the national growth, to the economy, to the politics. Every sector of the nation will benefit from it. And that is what you're trying to let us know. So I want to say thank you to everybody for being part of our discussion today. We'll listen to our note takers for today. Please, let's hear from you. What are the notes you've taken? Based on what people have been discussing, so that we can round up today's session. Who are the note takers for today?
Good evening, everybody.
Do you want to share your screen with us, or you're fine with?
I actually wrote it down on paper rather than on screen. So, yes. So for the option one, we also talked about the application, and then where in many of the schools, there are more theoretical aspects rather than the practical. And but then in some public schools, the practical aspect has been established, where some equipment have been sent to the schools, and then the laboratories and things have been improved in some public schools, but in some other ones, there are no equipment for the students to use. And concerning the private-public partnership, it has been practicalized in some places in Ibadan, yes. And there are quality teachers that have been employed to make sure that these students learn and get enough information. And also talked about government getting allocating money to a particular school or particular institution, and then discover that the money are that they've taken wings, that they've flown away, or some of the infrastructure that have been put there are no longer there. And it's a reflection of who we are as a nation. And not just the government that is corrupt, the citizens too, they have already been engaged in this kind of corruption. It has eaten deep into our roots, making it difficult for this term education to develop, this term curriculum to materialize in some schools. And then for the option two, some people talked about that it is possible for the plans to be implemented. And then, like when want students to learn about these things, about STEM education, yet separate from schools. There should be a platform where they can be able to gather together and learn. And and many Nigerians are willing, that are in the diaspora, they are willing to contribute to this, to make this STEM education, to make it something good in our nation. And we need to collaborate with other people that are in Nigeria, maybe like educators that are passionate about STEM education, to collaborate with them to ensure that this STEM development and infrastructures and everything that is needed is made available to the students. And um, there should also be, for the option three, there should be coalition with the of advocates. Not just that, okay, there's one particular advocate in one place, another one in another side. But then there should be a coalition of every one of them, and then involve the government to ensure that this process are faster. And there should be plans and structures for monitoring the facilities given to the schools. Yeah. And the complacency, bureaucratic and bureaucratic bottleneck, and the corruption that is hampering the implementation of STEM education should, in a way, people should try to ensure that these problems are diminished so that STEM education can develop in a good way in Nigeria. And you also mentioned IT as a good model where we can, where organizations can, government can partner with them, and other things can, so we can be able to make good impact in STEM education. So that's everything that I got.
Thank you very much for that summary. Does anybody have anything to add? Is there anything that we said that was not reflected in the notes taken by our note taker for today? Anything said that was not captured? Anything said that was misrepresented? Anybody willing to talk on that? You feel there's an important point that was made that was not captured in the summary she just read to us? Or is there anything that was said this way that was said or that she counted in another way? Anyone? So that means the note was well taken, and we all had a good time. I want to say thank you to everybody. This issue guide was prepared by the research and development team of LRF, and in working with the Ready Writers Consult team. And as we said, LRF is aligned to Agenda 4 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, taking strategic and deliberate action to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for every human being, and promoting opportunities for lifelong learning for everyone. That's what is captured in that Agenda 4. And, that is what we're about. And, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us today for this very engaging discussion. We've had a very wonderful one, discussing and learning from one another. I've learned a lot listening to some of you guys sharing your experience, sharing your views and your opinion on this discussion. And as I said, tomorrow, and a brief announcement, we have our volunteers meeting, which also doubles as our volunteers appreciation day. That's when we get to appreciate all our volunteers who have played meaningful role in our 2024. We want to say thank you to them. We want to give them a little token of certificate to appreciate them. And then for those who actually also do maybe extra than the others, will be giving them just a little financial token to say thank you to them. So we look forward to having you guys join us tomorrow. The session will be streamed live so that can also and to be on our YouTube channel, where you can all see our volunteers and then see how we appreciate them. We can't even thank them enough, because if not for the volunteers, we wouldn't have been able to do some of the things that we get done. You can see from even this discussion today, we have quite a number of them joining us and having from different walks of life, different backgrounds. And so it's an opportunity for us to do that at least one time in a year to say thank you to them. And we also look forward to having more and more of you guys joining us in the volunteer groups across the 4 teams. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. So on behalf of the board of trustees of LRF and the management team, I want to say thank you to every one of you who have been here with us from beginning to this very end of the program. And thanks for sharing your opinions, for engaging this very interesting discussion on STEM curriculum in Nigeria. How can we better it? How can we improve it? How can we make it more accessible for our pupils towards national growth and development? We hope that by the time we are done with this, the report, because we are going to do the report, we'll also be sending them to education authorities across our nation so that they can see what you have said, what you have expressed as solutions to some of these problems. And we hope that as they read some of these reports, they will take concrete actions to improve outcomes for our citizens, for our students, for our children who are in school, our wards. And as they get better education, they also become better professionals, better human beings that will make meaningful contributions to the development and progress of our nation. So that is why we are doing this, and we will continue to do our part until we get results. So I want to say thank you once again. Have a wonderful remainder of the Saturday and a restful Sunday ahead. See you guys tomorrow at the appreciation ceremony, which will start at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. Till then, from Little Rock here, I say have a wonderful evening. Bye.